Thanks for logging on to myfoxhurricane.com. So things have been pretty quiet lately. We've had a couple of waves here and there. And just looking at the climatology, when we normally see different storms, and we've been waiting for that G name storm. Next name on the list is Gabrielle. And typically we see that by September 3rd. And then by the 9th, we've got the H storm. And by tomorrow, we typically have that I name storm. So we are running a little behind climatology. Not that anybody's upset about that, but typically speaking, that's what we see. So here's where we have been so far. We've had 6 named storms. We have only had 1 hurricane. Now that 1 hurricane did become a major hurricane, but compared to the averages over here, you can certainly tell it's lagging behind. But we're in that time of the year where we're towards that peak of the season. Second half of the season can be very active, especially through the end of September into early to mid October. You can really see a lot of activity. It doesn't take long for a lot of this to ramp up and to start to catch up on those numbers. But that being said, we do have one area that we're watching. This is that Invest 92. We've been talking about this for many days, working its way across the eastern Atlantic, that tropical wave that worked its way off the coast. Hurricane Center has now gone ahead and designated this as that Invest 92. Now, in the short term, over the next 2 days, about a 40% chance of development. Over the next 7 days, we're talking more along the lines of an 80% chance of development. You see that swath, that red area. Notice the angle of it as well. It's not heading towards the Caribbean. It's pushing more towards the northwest, which gives you an idea of where this will likely be going. Now, here's a closer view of the visible satellite imagery, also showing that Saharan dust. And you are seeing a large plume of dust, but notice some of this wrapping around. So it's still dealing with at least some of this dust, but over the next couple of days, it will likely start to at least move into an area where conditions become even more favorable, moving away from some of this dust. And so it does look like this has got a pretty decent chance of developing. Already the computer model showing that kink in there where we've got this definitely a pretty good rotation trying to get formed with this. Right now, looks like this is just a tropical wave, but it does look like as we go through the next couple of days, many of the computer models are really fairly excited about this. So here what we're looking at is a comparison among the different models. We've got the European in white, the European AI, and then the GFS. And already the GFS picking up on that lower pressure. Notice as we go through the next couple of days, every single one of these models picks up and starts to develop this system, moving it on towards the west and the northwest, north of the islands as we head towards the end of the week. And then just continuing that development does show more of that turn more towards the north and the west. About the only thing that we're talking about is a difference in the intensity of this. And then exactly where does it start to make that turn? You see the GFS keeping a little bit further towards the east, the European a bit further on towards the west. So here now we're looking at our own Fox model picking up on this same area, working its way on towards the west and the northwest, slowly developing this as well. Now I want you to focus in on this, but at the same time, it's picking up on some other waves out there. So we might start to see more and more of these waves that we have to watch over the coming days. So here's a look at the wind field, and it is showing an increase in those winds as we head through the week. Could see some of these winds. These are the peak wind gusts. Some of these winds starting to peak in and around that tropical storm force. So definitely looking pretty promising that we're going to see more development with this as we go through the next several days. Then we watch to see the exact timing of any kind of turns and how this all plays out over the next several days. Of course, we'll keep you updated right here on myfoxhurricane.com.